So we're back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at Salamence. People have forgotten about this Pokemon. It's a dragon that outspeeds Hydreigon. Like, Hydreigon's everywhere, but this just outspeeds it. It underspeeds Garchomp, but you intimidate it, so it's not as bad. So you still win the 1v1 against Garchomp. People have forgotten about Salamence completely. I'm not sure why. Because it's been a brilliant Pokemon in the formats it's been in, like, before. Obviously, back when it had Mega Evolution, it was busted, but even back then, like, back in VGC 14, everyone was using Salamence still, even when the Garchomp and Hydreigon were everywhere. So I don't see why this isn't being used in this format either. Choice Specs is probably one of the better items for it. It's a bit strange to say that given it's 135 attack as opposed to 110 special attack, but then you can't be intimidated. The Draco Meteor is stronger than just Dragon Claw, because you only have Outrage as your strong Dragon attack, so Specs Draco Meteor is stronger than Bandit's Dragon Claw, so you might as well be using that. But then you just get to outspeed and Oko a Hydreigon. Or force the Terra typing on the Hydreigon. And then if you've done that, sort it, because now you know that their Terra type is already used. So it seems entirely viable to me. I think A is, like, it's probably a low A, but it's still a very good Pokemon that no one is using. So do I say hidden gem? I don't think it's very hidden. It's definitely a gem, though, because this has been used in previous formats, and especially when Hydreigon and all that was there as well. So don't see why this wouldn't be able to be used. So yeah, Draco Meteor would be very nice. It's actually got a slight buff back when Specs Salamence was used previously, because back in VGC 14 you would just use Draco, Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, as in like your strong Dragon and Fire move, and then the accurate Dragon and Fire move. But now you get Air Slash, so you get your extra stab. You also get Hurricane. It's worth mentioning if you have a Rain team, you can definitely use Hurricane instead. But whoops, Air Slash should be over here. Flamethrower should be here. So yeah, it gets Air Slash now. So you get an extra stab move that's somewhat reliable, is reasonably fast, so can get some flinches as well. You still get the coverage of Dragon Pulse if you don't want to lock in Draco Meteor to drop your special attack. This is still absolutely fine. I don't see anything wrong with this, especially because you can Terror into a Fire type to make yourself resist Fairy and get some pretty strong... this was Heat Wave, wasn't it? Flamethrower or Heat Wave, doesn't really matter, one of them. So then you can get some extra strong of the Fire type attacks, which is the coverage of the Dragon type attacks, because Dragon and Fire is brilliant coverage. Now you can resist Fairy while getting extra damage on top of your Specs Heat Wave / Flamethrower / Fire Blast if you wanted. So yeah, this is still great. Still very strong. Like, people may be put off that Garchomp outspeeds it. That didn't stop you in VGC 14. This outspeeds Hydreigon. You can just nuke it. Why aren't you doing that? So yeah, it can very much be a Dragon Dance set as well, because this is now making use of the 135 attack, because it gets Dragon Dance, it's pretty fast, still outspeeds Hydreigon, still can Dragon Claw at first, and you kind of need Terra Blast as your coverage. You still want to be a Fire type, but you have to rely on Fire Fang otherwise. So Fire Fang is fine, because if you don't Terra, then you can still have the Fire type coverage. Terra Blast does commit you to... That's not Dragon Dance, keep getting the moves out of order because I keep clicking on things. Terra Blast does commit you to being a Fire type to get that coverage, but it's significantly stronger than Fire Fang. Like, Fire Fang being 65 as opposed to 80, that's a big increase. Like, that's a noticeable increase that is probably worth using Terra Blast instead. You can use Fire Fang, probably wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, Fire typing, so you resist the Fairies still. You are going to stay weak to Rock, so there is an argument that Steel could be used on Salamence as well. And if you do, then you have Iron Head over Terra Blast. But then you struggle against things like Goldengo because you just can't hit it at all, whereas with Fire Terra Blast you can. So this is worse coverage, probably better defensive coverage, so I would still recommend Fire, because then the Fire and Dragon is one of the best coverage things that you can get in the game. It's like closing in on Bolt Beam. So Dragon Claw and Terra Blast Fire / Fire Fang is what I recommend. This is also justifiable, but please do not use this. There's some bug with Dual Wing Beat. I don't know what it is about it, but like literally it got to the point that I started counting this. So back in Generation 8, I would make a team and it's like, oh, Salamence fits on this team perfectly. Of course it should be Dual Wing Beat because that's the flying type attack that it gets. So obviously back then you could have Dynamaxed into Max Airstream, but outside of it, like literally, I started counting this 10 times in a row when I put Salamence on the team, the very first Dual Wing Beat I went for it missed. Like it got ridiculous. I know that odds are that sometimes that will happen. Like, even the ridiculously unlucky things will happen, and especially because I've been playing for so long, those things will happen. But yeah, Dual Wing Beat is cursed. Don't use it. It's 90% chance to miss. Like, I swear. But you kind of have to run Dual Wing Beat if you're running the Flying type. You should probably be Flying type, so you get some extra powerful Dual Wing Beats as well. You could turn into a Ground type, so you can get some stronger Earthquakes, because you probably do want Earthquake as your coverage with Dual Wing Beat, because this is very good coverage. Flying and Ground is very good coverage as well. But yeah, I would stay away from this because Dual Wing Beat is cursed. it will just miss. Also, Salamence is a perfectly reasonable as a support Pokemon as well, because it's fast enough to make use of Tailwind, so that you can get it up for your partners as well. It now gets Helping Hands, so it doesn't need any offensive investment to be able to help out with your party, because no investment Draco Meteor still OHKOs a Hydreigon. You can have the Haban Berry so that you resist their Draco Meteor, so you don't need to Terra Fire or use your Terastallization on your support Pokemon so that you survive their Draco Meteor. So, Siri, shush, that's the third time. So then you still get the coverage of Draco Meteor and Heat Wave, like that's great coverage, and then you turn into the Fire type if you want to, so you can get some slightly stronger Heat Waves. Yeah, Tailwind and Helping Hand, brilliant support, while being an Intimidate Pokemon as well. This is a very, very solid support Pokemon. So I see no reason why this would not be usable as well. Especially because Hydreigon's like one of the best, if not the best Pokemon in the format, and this beats it. This takes on the opposing Hydreigons very well. Whether that's with the Specs Draco Meteor, the two just absolutely nuke it. Whether that's going to be to outspeed and just Dragon Claw it immediately, / Dragon Dance so that it can put itself faster as well. Not this one. This one loses to it. But then this one, even as a support Pokemon, can 1v1 a Hydreigon. So if you can beat one of the best Pokemon in the format, while being a very good Pokemon outside of that, why are you not using this? This is definitely an A-tier Pokemon. Hidden Gem? Again, shouldn't be so hidden. It's an out-in-the-open gem. Start using it.